Last week, Milton Transit had a success story. 2 years in the making, the diesel to electric bus conversion has not only hit the street, but it's in the fleet. This morning, I spoke with Mayor Gord Krantz and asked if he believes that this innovation has gotten attention from the town from other transportation organizations.
I believe it has, Jason, and thanks very much. And, for our listeners out there, we'd like to think we at the town of Milton are a bit of an innovator here. We've been blessed on having MTB truck and bus in our community for quite some time. So going back probably a couple of years ago now, when we first started to think about or talk about conversions, MTB, they bought right into the notion, and they'd never done one of them before themselves. And to the best of my knowledge, very few in the industry had tried it. So we were innovators when it comes to that. And of course, we did what we refer to as a bit of a trial run back just a few weeks ago. And it's proven out to be quite interesting and very, very successful here too. So, not only the emissions part of it, but the vehicles are much quieter too. So I've been on the new converted bus there when we tried it out, and it was really quite surprising there, and how quick that thing can get away from a stop as well. So, you and I are used to those old diesel buses revving up and taking off, but that new electric bus is quiet and it takes off just like a jackrabbit.
All right, well, let's talk about insurance here, Mayor Krantz. Last week, it was reported that the town of Milton saw an insurance rating boost thanks to the fire service investments. So how did this come about, and what does it mean for residents?
Well, really what it is, the insurance bureaus, they watch very closely, how communities regulate themselves. And as an example, Milton, in our wisdom or the lack thereof, have increased our full-time fire department over the past 5 years. So that does have a bearing on insurance rates, on the quicker responses, especially for fire insurance. So that had a bearing on it. But the odd part of it is full-time, regardless of what, it's expensive to the taxpayer. So you save in one way and it costs you a bit in the other, because, full-time firefighters are not cheap to bring on. But, you can't put a price on life. You certainly can replace property, there's no question about it, but that can be fairly expensive as well. So there's a balancing act there when it comes to the economics of it. But, I certainly support what's evolving there, because again, you cannot put a price on human life.
All right. Well, let's go from something very serious there with the insurance and the fire to something a little finicky. On the outskirts here, it was just brought up in council that Milton has some shaggy-looking boulevards, and this may be because the town does not have a bylaw in place saying homeowners are to take care of their boulevard grass, which may I say, Mayor Krantz, as a former teenager that cut lawns as my very first job in my life, this blows my mind. I'm all about taking care of a property and the boulevard. It's part of being a homeowner, but what is the town doing in regards to the shaggy boulevards?
Well, probably you could refer to it, Jason, as a bit of a carrot and stick approach. You bring a bylaw in, and I guess you could call it the stick, threatening the individual. Keeping in mind that when we talk about boulevards, they're owned by the town in our case there. So the biggest majority of homeowners, including myself, I have a grass boulevard in front of my place, and I'm always taking care of that, as well as I think probably at least 95% of the people do. And what happens, you'll get 3 or 4 neighbors that really do a great, great job on their boulevard and their lawns. And then you'll get 1 or 2 individuals in the neighborhood that care less about it. They let the weeds grow and the whole bit. And then we start getting complaints that, my next door neighbor, he or she's not cutting their boulevard. And maybe they're not even cutting their own grass properly. And that happens quite often too, where we have to use that carrot and stick approach there to even maintain their own private property, let alone town boulevard property. But we also get criticized, believe it or not, Jason, from time to time in the town of Milton. As an example, if we got a lot of boulevard along town-owned property, we got to make sure we maintain that as well, because we have encouraged people to maintain it. And then they'll come back and say, well, how come you don't maintain your own property in front of your own property? So we got to be very, very careful in how we enforce this as well. But I think encouraging people to maintain that property in front of their house is really important. And hence the probability of a bylaw coming into effect and using that carrot and stick approach. And hopefully be more carrots than big sticks.
I, I, I don't know if I know what that means, but we're going to leave it at that, Mayor Krantz. Always appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jason. You have a good one.